And that's in part why maybe the best paintings or the best books seem to be in the past, because it's where all of this exploration was happening. And you could think, well, maybe the biggest explosion of exploration for video games happened in the last 30 years, and now it's a much more mature industry. But that makes me feel video games is not as constrained. It's a much more broad, it's like interactivity, right? So it's like every time there's a new technological breakthrough that changes what you can do with that interactivity, it
Yes.
feels to me like, well, then the form has changed yet again. And it follows, and this is a big premise of why we're doing this, it follows that there should be a lot more to explore. And, what does it mean to make a video game where now you can run semi-human like models on the fly?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, time will tell that, how much that drives innovation, but I 100% buy into that, Ramon. I think it has to be that technology leads innovation, right? Because I think when you have a certain step change in technology, people start discovering all the ways you can play with that technology. And at some point, all of them are filled, right? When you have the internet, you can have MMOs, you can have first player shooters, you can have all these things. At some point, you kind of tap out of the universe of what's possible with that existing technology. And then something else comes along and, oh, wow, you can do this or you can do that. And then there's a new period of exploration. Of course, some technologies are better at creating new ways of entertainment and novelty and play than others. And so I think time will tell what AI's role is in this.
So yeah, there's another podcast, Gamecraft, with Blake and Mitch Lasky, and he has kind of this thesis that the game industry isn't purely cyclical. There's actually like these three ideas. You have got cycles of technology, cycles of distribution, and cycles of content. When and they have their own cycles, and that what tends to drive the business. I think there is a easy argument for generative AI and machine learning to be a driver of technological innovation at this moment, even if we're still finding in some domains or industries the full application. I'm wondering if so taking that to games, where does machine learning, where does generative AI in this innovation space? Like, do you think, is this a new category of games? Is it just are AI native games a category, right? Or is this kind of just maybe a shorthand that we have right now because we don't know what else to do with this technology?
I think I've been thinking about this a lot, and I think the effects are pretty multifaceted, and actually not just on the design side, but on the business side.